My sweet and lovely Leos, this is your horoscope for 2025. Happy New Year. I can't believe how 2024 went so fast. We are almost at the end and we are almost at 2025. Now, 2025 will be sort of shifting year, will be year of middle ground, sort of like rehearsal of what's to come after 2025 in 2026. Why? Because all of the planets will change signs. This is very rare, this kind of year to happen, especially those big and karmic planets will change signs. Uranus, Neptune, all those slow moving planets that affect, masses of people and more on our subconscious level, our spiritual growth. All these planets will change, shift signs, and whole vibration of the earth or our planet will change, and our vibration too, our personal vibration. We will be focused on something different from starting from 2026, but 2025 will show you sort of like a flashcard, sort of like a trailer. Will show you actually what is to come and what you should be, getting ready. Also, all personal planets will retrograde. Very rare to happen all at the same time again in 1 year. Now, all personal planets, why personal? They are directly affecting us, like directly through our like people, events, situations in our life, and those direct personal planets are Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. They all gonna retrograde and they will overlap each other's retrograde. So one by one, first 4 months of 2025 will be slow, guys, because all these personal planets will be sort of in a sleeping mode. They will be weak and they will, because they affect us directly more in our life, and all these things that we want to pursue, like want to start, want to achieve, it will be a little bit slow, and maybe because of your mood, maybe because of like outer circumstances, but in general, all these personal planets will go retrograde until mid of April, and until mid of April, it's not advisable to start anything new or to make any important decisions. Also, this year we will have our destiny changing. In astrology, you can check what's your destiny according to your natal chart, and those are like related to lunar nodes. They will change pair of signs. They will move to the next one. They are always two, and all the eclipses, they fall in those signs because of these lunar nodes. Where the lunar nodes are, there are the eclipses gonna happen. And eclipses, they are life-changing events. So those events will fall on a different area in your life, my dear Leos. We will talk about it more in detail. Now, let's begin with Jupiter, probably one of the greatest thing that and amazing planet of luck and abundance and prosperity, will change signs on 9th of June. Now, first half of the year, until 9th of June, Jupiter will be transiting still your 11th house. Now, 11th house is all about your dreams, your like what you want, what you wish, and you also have big luck in terms of social media, like internet popularity. If that was your wish, this will be your time, my dear Leos. You still have 6 months to go to pursue that, I don't know, influencer career or creator career, all these things, especially everything related to social media. Open that page and all this stuff. But I would suggest you to open page only after April, better to do. And before, you can prep, you can do some preparations and like content preparation, let's say. And plus, Jupiter rules your fifth house, house of joy. And it seems like whatever you will be doing in terms of social media or any other, you will be enjoying it, because fifth house is all about joy, and Jupiter rules naturally your fifth house. Whatever we create, whatever you particular create, my dear Leos, it usually comes from the place where you're happy, you're enjoying what you're doing. And it seems like you will enjoy a whole process, even if it's the wish, like starting a business, for example. It also will be sort of joyful moment, like a whole process. Now, Jupiter in the 11th house is also about friendships. Now, your friendship circle sort of expanding. You might meet some new people during next 6 months. And Jupiter usually is a significator of foreign cultures and people and languages. Whoever you're going to meet, those people seems like will be speaking different language or from a different cultural background. Now, your Jupiter, whatever it touches, it makes it bigger, it makes it wider. And it seems like it's making your social circle wider, my dear Leos, like reaching your expansion. Even if it's not in a physical world, then it could be online. as I said, because 11th house rules internet. Could be your reach, like online reach, is expanding thanks to Jupiter, my dear Leos. Now, after June 9, next half of the year, for the next 6 months, Jupiter will concentrate on your 12th house. Now, 12th house is all about privacy, all about something like doing some projects behind the doors. You might get concentrated on something after like June. Maybe you will be preparing some big projects. Maybe you might also you might feel the need for rest, because 12th house is all about rest, is all about retreat, and plus Jupiter is planet of faith, and 12th house is the places, like religious places, places of power, like retreats, where we go and rest, like in the nature somewhere near water, all these things, like in the, I don't know, in the forest. And it seems like you might actually crave for this kind of time. And after June, it will be possible. And Jupiter will bring those gifts into your life, because Jupiter is the only planet that actually nothing asks in return. It just gives, it just expands. It showers all the glitters and happiness and abundance and happy opportunities as well. Now, 12th house is also surgery's house. If you planned some surgery or even unplanned, I suggest you to plan it after June. So for the next half year, whatever you are whatever it is going there with your health or some surgeries, no worries, because it seems like Jupiter is a big angel of our universe, will be on your side protecting you, my dear Leos. This is amazing one, amazing placement. Now, Jupiter will be in your 12th house until next year, June, until 2026. June 30th. So you will have a whole year to enjoy having Jupiter in your 12th house. Now, 12th house is also all about, isolated places like islands. You might actually move to some kind of place, like relocate to some kind of place which is a bit isolated, and at the same time enjoy it, like peacefulness. It will be so beautiful place. It might be that you would want to stay there. Maybe some island country like Malta or I don't know, Cyprus. You might move to this kind of places, or it could be also hotel vacation all the time, or maybe hotel business. You might start a hotel business or enter into corporate sort of life in a hotel, like working in a hotel. This kind of things might happen. And plus 12 house is all the works that are done at night as well. So night shifts might be coming here. And I mean, if that was your wish, Jupiter will easily grant for you, my dear Leos, also working at night. Now, you might think back to 12 years ago, because Jupiter was in the same position 12 years ago, back in 2013, when it was in your 12th house. And what was happening back then? Nothing is exactly the same in our life, but similar. So similar topics might be going on here. For example, when Jupiter went into your 12th house, you got, let's say, lost weight, for example, because, 12th house is about loss and also body weight, like fat loss too. If you got into great shape 12 years ago, but then somehow all that declined, now you will have again opportunity to do that miracle to your body. You might hit the gym, or you might hit different sort of healthy lifestyle, and you might bring back that beautiful shape to your body, as an example, my dear Leos. Now, if 12 years ago you've traveled somewhere, or you stayed somewhere, this time you might again go back to those places and to stay again there, or similar experience might happen, as recalling something might be going on here. Also, 12 house is all about, as I said, like doing everything in private, behind the doors, some projects. And again, 12th house, when you sit alone in solitude and do like meticulous work, like it's sitting long times and doing sort of kind of research. You might start doing that too. For example, let's say 12 years ago, you've attained your PhD or master's degree, and you've been studying there a lot. And now after 12 years ago, you will decide to publish a book, as an example. And you will need to also, right, you will have to research there, sit for long hours in solitude, researching, thinking, and writing. This might be as an example for you, my dear Leos. Now let's talk about eclipses, because eclipses are a huge part of the coming year. All the eclipses will be amazing. We will have 4 eclipses in 2025, except for the last one, which will be sort of a bit difficult to deal with, but we will get to that point. Now, eclipses, they are rocket ships. What eclipses bring usually? They bring life-changing events, once in a lifetime situations, or big sort of events that you remember actually for years and forever possibly. Like, when you get married, or where you lose someone, or you give birth, or I don't know, you find your dream job, or something that happens which is like changing your life like 180 degrees, like totally changing your life. So this kind of things eclipses usually bring. And why they are rocket ships? Because they are perfect tools of universe to get you there, to that point where like as fast as possible to your destiny. Now, eclipses happen because of a destiny nodes. They are called lunar nodes also in astrology. They are about your destiny. They are always two, a north node and south node, and they're always opposite, like situated in your natal chart, and they affect pair of signs because they are opposite situated. Now, these lunar nodes moving next year, January 29th, will be the day when lunar nodes will change signs. And of course, for you guys, they will change into your financial houses. Now, that financial axis, now two signs, 8th house and 2nd house. North node will move into your 8th house, south node will move into your 2nd house. Now, nodes in general, these lunar nodes, they take almost, like, roughly speaking, a year and a half to change sign. So they stay in one, like in pair sign, a year and a half, giving transformation through eclipses to those signs. And, for you guys, it's coming for the next a year and a half. It will be financial situation, whether you like how you earning, what kind of resources you have, probably like you might also change a lot of things, like a job, for example. A lot of you guys, you're going to quit because south node is a node of past, node of something familiar, and also south node is a node of loss. So it's in your 2nd house. Now, 2nd house is earned income. You might quit your job or you might lose your job, but always remember that, this is for better. Eclipses, they usually, when things happen, we are not happy, of course, but eclipses, they are like, task is to bring opportunity, is to finally make you go, make you go out of your comfort zone so that you move faster to your destiny. This is their job, my dear Leos. So here, you might, even if you will lose a job, no need to be sad, because another, there is already an opportunity. You just need to close the door behind you so that this door in front of you will open. This is the message of universe, my dear Leo. So always remember about that. You will always have another better job. You will always, it's already waiting for you. That's what it means. It's already there. So you just have to look, carefully and always notice things. Now, North Node, which is destiny, right, where we headed, which will be in your 8th house. Now, 8th house is all about other people money. And it seems like it might be that, for example, your wife or your husband will get lucky in terms of money. They will double their salary. So there is no need actually for you to work, right? Even if you lose, let's say, a job, still you will be saved financially, because North Node in your 8th house. 8th house is all about money that comes to you from other people. It's not the money that you earn, but they come like into your pocket from other people or other places, like governments or financial institutions, banks, for example. So you might receive some sort of, I don't know, inheritance, for example, or you might, someone might invest into your idea, like into your business idea. As an example, you might quit your job, like 9-to-5 job, and start your own business because you've got a like great business partner there who is willing like to invest into your business, for example. Or your husband's situation or your wife's situation will get better so that it will be enough for you guys to live on like one, let's say, money source, as an example. These are just examples, but all depends on your situation and your natal chart and life situation, right? So you should translate it into your own particular case. Now, since July 2023, these nodes, they were in your 9th house and 3rd house. Now, North Node was in your 9th house, South Node was in your 3rd house. This house is about movement. These axes that it was for the past year and a half, it's about movement of ideas, physical movement, traveling, relocating, immigrating somewhere, and also having, I don't know, ideas and learning some new languages, learning some new skills, learning some I don't know, something new like degree, or I don't know, going through some courses, driving. So these things were a lot changing for you for the past a year and a half. You might have been busy actually immigrating somewhere, relocating somewhere far to some foreign land, for example, in some case because of job, in some case because you got married, in some case it might be like, I don't know, because your job sent you there for some time, but you stayed there because you liked it. Whatever is the reason, the point here is that it was moving you. It's a movement axis, and it's all about movement of ideas. Even if you didn't move physically, for example, it might be about like new things, new experiences. It made you actually hungry for new sort of cultures. You might have read a lot, you might have studied something new, some new languages also. All this ninth and third house for the past a year and a half, those nodes through eclipses, they were bringing all the situation. Also, this axis is about relatives, especially your brother or sister. If you don't have them, like if you're a single child, then it might be your relative, like close circle relative, or your neighbors. There were a lot happening in their life that was like affecting you directly. Now, when nodes will move on January 29th into your financial axis, 8th house and 2nd house, I can tell you what was happening for me when this happened, when lunar nodes were back in my 8th house and 2nd house. In my case, actually, my values changed, because 2nd house is all about values also. It's not only money, it's about, what you value in life. Like whether it's a love, whether it's I don't know, studies, grades, family, your job, or whatever is that. So those things sharply changed for me. At that time I was, let's say, in love with a person, and but there was a moment when eclipses were going on, and I just realized that next year I have to graduate, and I will need to like graduate with great marks. That's why I totally shift my focus onto my studies. And that, to be honest, that love became something which was not important, was not important anymore for me. Like, I mean, for that moment, I gave myself sort of a time period until my graduation that I will be focusing solely on my studies. That's what I did, actually. And I was focused to get a scholarship for my studies, which I was successful. And I was really happy because, North Node was exactly in 8th house. You see, that scholarship is, again, it's money that is coming from other source, right? From government, in my case, from university, and also from government too. I got both of them. So it gave me actually, this opportunity. I made an effort, and eclipses granted this wish, my wish. So I worked hard, and I got a scholarship, and I went to studies. But in 2nd house, there was my South Node, right? Exactly that is happening for you in 2025. Now, 2nd house is all, South Node is all about loss, as I said. And, 2nd house is linked to values. And as I said, some values became totally diminished for me, totally non-existent, let's say. I switched priorities. Something else became a priority for me. That was happening like in my life. And also, plus, I lost weight. 2nd house is about also eating habits, my dear Leos. You might change your diet, like what you eat, daily intake, like food intake, whatever is that. You might change how you view it, and your eating habits might transform completely, so that your body transforms. And at that year, I was studying hard, and I also eating less, so I lost weight greatly. So this is my case. This can be like as an example, my dear Leos, for you. Now let's talk about eclipses. Now, as I said, we have 4 eclipses. March 14th, 2nd house, lunar eclipse. Now, in your 2nd house, there will be sudden surprises, but coming with responsibilities, like positive surprises, because Uranus will be active and Saturn will be active there. Now, this around 14th of March, it seems like you might actually find a new job or get a job offer from somewhere else, but that will be very surprising, my dear Leos. You won't even expect it, but that job will come with heavy responsibilities and also good money, but you will be somehow happy. But you should remember one thing, that those responsibilities will be heavy, my dear Leos, according to Saturn, and it will require you hard work if you get the job offer. If it's not job offer, then it might be some source, a source of income, whatever is that. Maybe it's a client you're gonna attract. Some client which will be demanding, which will be a bit of a like hard to work, but you will be happy that you attracted this client. It was like a surprise for you, huge surprise, positive one. But at the same time, you will for sure will feel that that person will be very demanding, with rules, very strict and responsible, as Saturn, my dear Leos. 2nd eclipse will have March 29 in your 9th house, solar eclipse. This eclipse is an amazing one, perfect eclipse, which will, highlight your 9th house. Now, 9th house is all about travels, education, also if that's your case, and also legal cases. Now, if you have a lawsuit, like if you're in a lawsuit, or I don't know, you're just following some lawsuit, uh, around 29th of March, there might be positive news that you won. For example, you're going to win this case, or something like this might happen. Also, ninth house is about you might travel somewhere amazing, or actually relocate, like migrate because of new job. For example, March 14th you got a new job, and by the end of March you're already relocating with your family. As an example, could be another city, could be another country, or even continent, but most likely it's a country, because it's far lands. The ninth house is also a house of wisdom, house of search for life meaning, and also teachers and mentors. You might find someone here who you will who will inspire you, actually, who you will be sort of trying to follow, and you will be amazed with, and you will be amazed by. And plus, that person might teach you quite a lot of things in terms of life concepts, life beliefs, and your life belief might expand, because ninth house is about expansion. It's such a huge broad house, plus it's expanding your mind, either through education. For some of you guys it might be like admission to university, which will be amazing news for you by the end of March. For some of you guys it might be that you will graduate and you will be happy, you will attain a new status, from your university with great marks, as an example. Some of you guys might just go on pilgrimage, like some religious trip or retreat, simple retreat to nature, which will have like immense effect on you, such a positive impact on you. Now, third eclipse, we have September 7th. Now, September 7th is brilliant eclipse, my dear. September will be by far the best month of 2025. Now, write down this because everything that you plan very serious, I suggest you to do it in September. Now, September 7th, we have lunar eclipse in your 8th house. Perfect one, because Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, these karmic planets, they will all be at 1 degree. It's very rare to have them all at 1 degree in their respective signs because, they are moving slow. Each of them take, more than from 10 to, 100 years to make a circle. And to come to 1 degree, all of them at the same time, it's nearly impossible. Like, it's very once in a lifetime thing happening here, and it's a huge thing. Now, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, they will be at 1 degree in their own signs, aligning perfectly, sending good vibration between each other, and affecting this whole lunar eclipse on September 7th in your 8th house. Now, here is all about someone else's money, right? Your bank account is sort of blooming here, my dear Leos, or your wife might get lucky, or your husband, or your long-term partner. In terms of money, they might double their fortune, as an example, which will be beneficial to you too. In some cases, it might be that you might receive an inheritance, big inheritance, which will be crazy happy news for you, like a real estate or something. In some cases, it might be investment. If you invested in the past, that investment might boom, my dear Leos, exactly for you. You might have made the right choice, actually. And your investment might not even double, but triple in around this lunar eclipse in your 8th house. Good returns you will see from your investments here. Now, for some of you, it will be about taxes and bank loans, because it's all about 8th house. Now, if you've been applying to tax recalculation, or to some other applications related to tax and all sorts of processes related to your tax return, it will be happy news there. Something with bubbling, which is very positive. You will be happy with the result, my dear Leos. Same with bank loans. Some of you guys might pay out the bank loan and you will be happy that you're free. Some of you guys might actually apply and get even more than you asked for, as an example. The process here in general will be smooth. This will be your time, my dear Leos, or it's your actually husband or wives or long-term partner situation. The same with business partners here. If it's not about love, if you're single, if you say I don't have a husband or a long-term partner, then it's about your business partners or at work, because 8th house are all about that. Now, 8th house also, except for money, it's about, apart from money, it's about conception. It's a mystical house of spirituality, house of conception, because conception is a magical thing, my dear Leos. So if that was your dear wish, Now this lunar eclipse will very potent, and you will be crazy happy. Seems like that you will find out that you're pregnant, or if you've been trying IVF, like in vitro, those things, doesn't matter which way, like non-traditional ways, traditional ways, you will get very lucky here. Seems like you might get pregnant, or actual birth might happen. You might give birth here around 7th of September, which will be amazing one, because all these karmic planets are supporting. They're like angels. They're supporting you in this fertility journey. Whatever you will be doing, their processes, target around this date, 7th of September. In general, September is an amazing month. Now, 8th house is also about healing, like magically healing. Seems like if you had some problem with your health or well-being, whatever was bugging you there, around September you might feel relief. Or for example, your medical, I don't know, checkup results coming, and they will show you that everything is fine, everything is perfect. Sort of, if there was something, that thing is going to disappear, my dear Leos. Whoever needs to hear this, seems like universe is, having your back. About this money thing, also the same as an example, alimony. Guys, if you're like trying to apply and get an alimony for your kid or for yourself for after divorce or during divorce, next year will be superb, guys, for you to actually get this money. You will start receiving it. No worries on that. Now, in the last eclipse, we have September 21st in your house of income, which will be solar eclipse. At that eclipse, Saturn and Neptune, they will oppose eclipse. Will be in a harsh angle, but that trio, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, that I told you that they will be on the first degree, they will be helping you at this eclipse too. So no worries. Seems like your back is again covered. And the only thing here, Saturn will remind you about some sort of responsibilities here. It might be that there could be some issues with relationship with your employees, as an example, or with your employee also, or it might be some relationship tension between you and to whom you pay or who pays you. Well, whatever is the business, actually, whatever professional area, just translate it into your situation. Or there might be some income source as well. Tension could be going on here, and in general about your job here. Now, these were all eclipses, and they will be falling here on your financial houses, my dear Leos, but all of them are amazing. So 2025 should be perfect for you in terms of financial situation. Now, let's talk about this slow-moving planet, karmic planets, and because they affect us on a more world level, like masses of people plus subconscious mind, our own spiritual journey sort of thing, and they are all changing sign. This is again very rare to happen all in one year. But let me tell you, all of them, they will give you preview of what's to come, sort of a short trailer. So you will have to, take notes of what's going on in your life actually in 2025, so that you will be prepared of what's to come in 2026 and afterwards. Because, those planets are long, like, slow moving planets. They will stay long in that new sign, but before they will be retrograding between two signs. So they will be showing you, actually hinting some things. Now, Neptune, March 30th, Neptune will move into your 9th house. Now, Neptune takes 14 years to change sign. You see how long it takes. Now, for Neptune to change sign, it needs 14 years, meaning last 14 years, it was in your 8th house. Since 2011, 2012, there might have been some situation going on with your finances, like with finances of your husband, of your wife, as I said, again, this 8th house, or there was maybe some situation related to inheritance. It might be could have been a lawsuit about inheritance, as an example, or you've been investing, for example, and now you become professional investor after, 14 years of experience. Or it might be, again, about alimony, like let's say 14 years ago you got divorced and you incurred alimony from your ex-husband or ex-wife, and for your kids or for yourself. But now, kids grow up and that alimony stops to come in, as an example. So when Neptune moves into your 9th house, some things finally get sorted out, finally change here, related to your 8th house. Same is about the conception, fertility. If you've been trying and not succeeding, try again this year, my dear Leos. Seems like universe has something for you in store. Now, Neptune is a planet of magic, and also a planet of illusions also. And in general, it's such a spiritual planet, and it's moving into your broadening house, sort of broadening mind house, ninth house in your natal chart, which is amazing, until 22nd of October. Now, from March to October, Neptune will be showing you, hinting you of what it is bringing into your life starting from 2026. So Neptune will be back for good, back in 2026, I mean in 2026, in January. So it will retrograde back into your 8th house to finish up some things. By the end of the year, all these slow moving planets will do the same. They will finish up some things there in your 8th house, and now they will move into your 9th house. Now Neptune will move into your 9th house, and 9th house is all about travels, all about foreign lands, people, culture, and also in general, it's a house of, search of meaning of life. Neptune here is a magic planet, and it's a spiritual. I love this planet in your 9th house because seems like Neptune finally will bring that magic touch to open up your heart. It seems like Neptune will finally broaden it. It will show you the whole world in a pink glass, through pink glasses. You might fall in love with the whole world, with concepts, no matter what concepts or what religions, you might fall in love with all of them. You might start, let's say, respecting all of them all of a sudden, and in general, the whole world, because 9th house is all about conception, it's all about, concepts, it's all about beliefs and religion. Seems like religion might become important for you also. For some of you guys, you might actually get very serious about religion and being religious. You might even change, switch religions as well. If you've been atheist, now you become a religious person, as an example, again. Now, for some of you, it might be astrology, numerology, those spiritual things might be, as a life concept, become more important, as an example. The 9th house is also about the teachers and mentors, those who teach wisdom, let's say, and you might actually find someone like this, and you might be mesmerized by this person. Now, 9th house is also about publishing. Now, for those of you who've been avid, let's say, writers, or you just new, let's say, to writing, and you're writing a book and you want to publish, let's say, a book or a research, you are a researcher, you're doing your PhD, I don't know, or you are full-time researcher, and just writers, let's say, you might actually, Neptune might give you here inspiration that you need, like that depth of whatever you're writing to make your masterpiece more deep, because Neptune is all about that. It's all about magic. It's all about this touch of magic and sort of inspiration there, imagination. It will give you, your imagination gets broadened so that you will finally sort of even write 100 more few pages, let's say, as an example. Now, 25th of May, we have Saturn moving the same 9th house. Now, these two planets, they spend in your 8th house, but Saturn has shorter period of spending in one sign. It changes signs every 2 to 3 years. So in each sign, it stay roughly saying 3 years. Now Saturn will move into your 9th house, and Saturn is our strict teacher of the universe. And it was in your 8th house, and it was teaching you actually how to invest. For example, Neptune, when 14 years back, it went first time into your 8th house. You started, let's say, investing, but you've been failing, I don't know, doing something wrong, and there were quite a lot of this kind of thing, and all pink, colorful sort of. You thought you will invest and you will get quick returns, but when Saturn moved into your 8th house back in 2023, it actually gave you a couple of lessons about this. This is just an example. Whatever is actually related to 8th house within your life could be the same. Something like you've been trying, but then Saturn comes in and either rewarded you, either gave you more lessons, because depends on your situation. If you've been a good boy and girl, Saturn rewarded you, because Saturn is not a bad planet. It just sees, let's say, people's effort and what you've been doing since it's gone from that your area of life. But when it's back, it just checks up, if you've been good or bad, like sort of a Santa Claus, I don't know. And for some of you, it might have been hard lessons, like losing, let's say, investments, for example, losing money, because 8th house is all about that. And Saturn also, whatever it touches, it makes it smaller, it shrinks it, it makes it limited, sort of drops it. And your investments might have dropped also since 2023. But when Saturn moves into your 9th house, that won't be the case anymore. My dear Leos, congratulations on that. The same way is about IVF. If you've been trying, and since 2023, some of you got successful and some of you not, but because Saturn limited that ability. But now when Saturn moves out from there, it might actually grant you a wish to have a baby. Now, Saturn moving in your ninth house until 1st September. Now, from May until September, Saturn will be hinting you what is going to happen in the next 3 years. Within your ninth house with Saturn there. It will be back February 14th, 2026, but it will stay until 2028, my dear Leos. Now, Saturn ninth house, for some of you guys, it might shrink your like traveling ability, like physical travel, as an example. If you've been traveling all the time, now Saturn might shrink that, might limit that. For some of you, it might not be the case. It might be the case that it will shrink your, let's say, window to the world, like in the mind, sort of how you view the world. It might get smaller for whatever reason. Like maybe you moved somewhere, I don't know, to some village or somewhere which is limited and isolated, and your window to the world also got smaller, as an example, except for the internet that you have at hand. But for some of you guys, it will be actually physically restrictive, like travels. You might be stuck somewhere, or for example, you lost a job, and at that job you've been traveling quite a lot, and now that thing will stop. These are just examples, my dear Leos, but not necessarily will happen in your case. You just need to translate it to your case. Now, ninth house is about education. For those of you who are planning to study, just so you know, next 3 years will be hard studies. You will need to study hard to graduate with great marks to get your degree, because Saturn is that strict teacher. It's a no joke planet. It doesn't like, when people try to find easier ways. With Saturn, there is no easier ways. Now, ninth house is also about legal affairs, and here, if you have a lawsuit, if you are like involved in a lawsuit, that thing might go very harsh. Let's say your competitors might come across as very strict, very demanding, and very hard to deal with, according to Saturn. So I would actually suggest you not to get involved in any lawsuits during Saturn in your ninth house. But if that's the case, so you get to prepare for a good battle, my dear Leos. Now, ninth house is also about publishing, like editing, and here your editors or publishing house might make also some demands, and you might rework your masterpieces, rewrite 1,000 times, find 1,000 mistakes, I don't know, try to rechange some things there, change some things there, and I don't know, delete and again, write again. All things might be happening through Saturn because it gives this sort of limitation, or you might simply have limited access to editors or to publishing houses. You might have a hard time finding one, the perfect one that you want. As an example, my dear Leos, this could be the case. Now, Uranus moves also to another sign. Now, this is very big thing. Also in astrology, Uranus is a slow moving planet. It's going into your 11th house on July 7th. Now, until November. Now, from July until November, Uranus will be showing you its trailer of what's to come in the next 7 years, because Uranus takes 7 years to change signs, roughly speaking. So it stays in one sign, transforming it, electrifying it, because Uranus rules electricity and shocking situations. In one sign for 7 years it stays. Now, Uranus was in your 10th house since 2018, 2019. Now, 7 years back, all those 7 years, your career sort of changed. For some of you guys, social status changed, because Uranus is a natural ruler of your 7th house of committed relationships. Whether you're married or divorced, in the past 7 years, you might have been married and also divorced, and even twice or even 3 times. Quite shocking things might have been, happened there in your social status, in terms of, are you married, are you divorced, or are you single, or are you employed, for example, unemployed, and also your career. 10th house is about career. Or it might be the case of your husband, one and only situation, your wife's situation. It might be that their path of the last 7 years was this kind of a bumpy, with a lot of surprises in terms of their career. Like either it was sharp down, either it was sharp up, either it was your situation, my dear Leos. It could have been down and it could have been up, and all the things at the same time. Sort of with Uranus, it's a bit hectic, planet, and it brings surprises all of a sudden that, you will need to sort of have a strong stamina to deal with Uranus. Now Uranus is going to move into your 11th house. But you know, Uranus in the 11th house, I love it much better because you know Uranus will be back into your 11th house in 2026 April. So and from July until November, you will get to see what's going to happen from April 2026 onwards for 7 years. So again, note things which will be going on in your life. This is like we are living in a perfect time in 2025 to get to see actually what is next decade to bring. Uranus in the 11th house is about social media, online, internet things. If you had a wish to become a, I don't know, popular, like social media creator or influencer, I don't know, blogger, whatever is that was your wish, this will be your 7 years, my dear Leos. You will have to launch your product exactly like this after 7th of July. It's amazing opportunity there, and all the planets will be direct also in July, so you will have perfect chance to open I don't know, YouTube channel or become a blogger or creator, whatever is that. As an example, for those of you who like, some of you will guys will deal with friendship, you know, your circle, your outer circle. Like 11th house is about friends, and here Uranus will bring a lot of friendships. And you know, don't be saddened if they will be interrupting, like if they will not be stable, because Uranus is this kind of a planet. It brings all people like from all walks of life into your circle, that you will be even amazed how you are friends with such a different diversity of people with different backgrounds and also interests. You will be sort of their glue, you know, between these two people, like different people, groups of people, but not necessarily like merging them all together. Could be separately, like friendships. You will be friends, I don't know, with different people, totally different, and you will be even yourself surprised how you manage it, like how is your friendship is so diverse, let's say, circle, and with different ideas and different, let's say, mindsets even. Uranus will bring a lot of this kind of people, and it might also interrupt, you know, some friendships and another friendship start, and it can be like short, could be short periods of times too. So get ready for that too. Now 11th house is also house of harvesting the results, whatever you've been doing for the past years. Uranus comes in and it will reward you, my dear Leos. It will give you that title, I don't know, whatever you wish for, whatever is the result of your work, it will be there with Uranus in your 11th house. And it can be sudden surprises, because Uranus is a planet of surprises at the end of the day. Now, 11th house is also house of, children. And because it rules your house of committed relationships, seems like you might, I don't know, suddenly find out that you're pregnant, as an example, that you are expecting, that you are becoming parent, also as an example. So take good care around this, part of your life if you are not planning to have a baby. But believe me, with Uranus, you never know from where it can come from. Now here, 11th house is such a big house. It's about like big events or big like corporate life where a lot of people work, for example, or it's about shows and it's a groups of people. It might be that your one and only, like your sweetheart, your wife or husband, a long-term partner might join such big groups like corporations or NGOs. 11th house is about NGOs too, like United Nations, for example. Maybe it might be that your wife or husband might go work for this kind of organizations, like big organizations, or I don't know, national sport team also could be the case. Now let's talk about Pluto. Pluto changed a sign recently also for the next 20 years, because it's also a slow moving planet. And those of you who have planets or placements in Aquarius from 0 to 3 degrees, you will be affected the most, my dear Leos, and also in Leo. If you have planets, like especially those of you who are like beginning of Leos, totally beginning, who are born in the beginning period of Leos, and you have planets from 0 to 3 degrees, Pluto will influence you greatly in 2025, and it's in your 7th house, house of marriage, house of love partnerships, committed relationships. And if you say it's not about love, but it will be in the next 20 years, let me tell you, it can also be about business partners, like with whom you work, with whom you sign contracts, with sign papers. Now, Pluto naturally rules your 4th house, house of family. And it seems like a lot of change coming here, and Pluto will oppose, there will be tension between you and your sweetheart. Or so, 2025 sort of will be testing year from Pluto to you about your committed relationship. those relationships that are strong, they will withstand the test of Pluto. And those relationships that are already like cracking and there are some, I don't know, some things already wrong, they will fall. Just to tell you, they will get destroyed because Pluto loves to destroy first so that it will build something new. It's like, Pluto, just imagine Phoenix. It's the phoenix, like a planet form. It loves to first burn down into ashes and then, be born from the ashes anew, as an example. So it's in your relationship house and it will be doing this aspect of opposition to your sun, and it's about relationships. It's about how, like, that relationship, your communication, your feeling, your thoughts towards other person, especially your wife or husband, or committed partner, or your business partner with whom you work. For some of you guys, it might be your employee, like direct manager, I don't know, boss, CEO, whatever is that, this. And also seventh house about enemies, those that we know face to face, those that are open, and your enemies might get activated. If you are in this kind of situations, Pluto will bring some situations which you will have tension between you and other party. It might be, I don't know, lawsuit, or it might be, I don't know, something which is confrontational, face to face, my dear Leos. Now, let's talk about personal planets because they will all retrograde. Again, this 2025 is such a special year. Now, Venus, planet of love and beauty, will retrograde. Venus retrogrades every year and a half, roughly speaking. Now, when Venus retrogrades, it's never good to get married. It's never good to sign marriage papers or to do plastic surgeries because it's a planet of beauty, and plus it's a planet of money. Try to avoid signing papers too, like which relates to money. Venus will retrograde from 2nd of March until April 13th. Now, 40 days, 40 nights. These 40 days you should note, write down, and memorize. Not to go to plastic surgeon, not to do any, I don't know, dentist work, not to, if it's related to this aesthetic part, of dentist work. That will not be totally aesthetic then. At the end, you won't like the result, my dear Leos. I warn you. For you guys, very important how you look. So that's why I'm telling you, note this date between 2nd of March and April 13th. Avoid doing any plastic surgery or getting married, because Venus is planet of love, and when Venus retrogrades, it's slow, it's weak, there is nothing about love there, my dear Leos. So better avoid, let's say, spring weddings. Now, we all love when Venus in our first house. Now, let me tell you when Venus will be in your first house. Venus will be in your first house from August 25th until September 19th. So this period, you will be feeling yourself like a star, shining star, because Venus in the first house, we feel ourselves confident, we feel ourselves irresistible, and also we have power to convince anyone into anything. So use this time if you need such power, magic power, from August 25th until September 19th, my dear Leos. Now, Mars will be very, let's say, also particular planet because it will have very unusual movement for 2025 for Mars. Mars will retrograde. We will start the year already with retrograding Mars since 2024, and it will retrograde until February, almost end of February. That's why Mars will be stuck in your two areas of your life. But what is interesting, Mars, like universe, seems like through Mars telling us to concentrate on two areas of our lives. In your situation too, specifically in because it will be in your sign, my dear Leos, since back in September 2024. Since September until June 2025, Mars will be stuck between two signs, including yours, my dear Leos. Because of its retrograde, it's very unusual for Mars to have such a long period, almost a year, in one part of your chart. But this is the case of 2025. Now, from January 6th until April 18th, Mars will be retrograding position, of course, and it will be in your 12th house. It will go back into your 12th house, but it started its retrograde in your first house, in your sign, back in 2024. And it will be retrograding. So it will move back into your 12th house and will stay there until April 18th. Now, after February, it will go direct, of course, and from February to April, it will go direct. But Mars needs time, to regain its power. Now, 12th house is all about past, something in your past, maybe family secrets, your past secrets, I don't know, your past life, somewhere you've been before, somewhere that you know perfectly, very familiar with some place, you might travel actually from January 6th until April 18th, or you might get busy with actually moving somewhere. because 12th house is also a far lands, like traveling somewhere very far, as an example. Or you might get busy. Also, you might get busy with, I don't know, surgeries, because Mars rules all things sharp, including surgical knives. And 12th house is house of surgeries. From January until April, you might be in need of surgery here. Of course, if it's emergency, we do it. But if it's not, I would propose you to postpone it until Jupiter goes into your 12th house, which will be June 9th. So after June, postpone your surgery if possible to after June, my dear Leos. This is the best advice I can give you. 12th house is also about subconscious mind, about transformational soul journey, spiritual journey. Psychotherapy is also any therapies, and visiting religious places, these sacred places, sort of retreats, simple just retreats, or maybe for boosting your energy, I don't know, retreats. These kind of things might be going on from January until April. You might get busy. And in general, 12th house is, private house. It's something behind the doors when you're alone and nobody sees you. There's like limited communication with the world, let's say, with your social circle. And 12th house is already restricted and limited place, and Mars there gives activities. So it might be that you will get sort of busy with yourself, like with your daily life, but not sort of communicating with outer world. It might happen until April. If you do so, then it's perfect, because exactly until April we will have all personal planets retrograding. Not only Mars, as I said, there is also Venus is there in until April retrograding, and Mercury also retrograding April. Anyway, April will be the slowest month of 2025. Now, from April 18th until June 17th, this will be perfect time, because Mars will be in your first house. Mars in first house is amazing because it gives energy. Finally, after so much, let's say, sleep, after so much inactivity until April, like first 4 months, seems like you will wake up. Sort of Mars will give you energy. Mars will, it's an action planet, it's activities planet. You might hit the gym as an example, or you might start doing some sport because it's in your first house. You might get busy with your body. First house is about how we look, and it's about our body. And you might also plan some plastic surgeries as well, because Mars rules these surgeries and in general sharp things like knives. You might plan some plastic surgeries from April to June. You might I don't know, you might get like quite active in general, because Mars gives this activity and engine. It's our desire, it's a fire. It's amazing time. It will be amazing period for you to put up front your priorities, your plans, go for what you dream, and in general gives you this sort of confidence and bravery. It will give you courage to go after what you want. From April until June will be perfect time for you, very active time. Now, I would like to also mention a couple of days which are interesting to note. February 23rd, we have Neptune conjunct North Node. Now, Neptune is magic planet, and it's connecting, uniting with the destiny node, exactly that node which is destined to happen. And it's uniting in your 8th house. Magical placement, my dear Leo. Some of you might even experience spiritual awakening, or even like, I don't know, meeting UFO as an example, or something magical, like mystical that you cannot explain might happen around February 23rd. Interesting is that will be the reason why you will be so busy behind the doors. Also Mars like transiting your 12th house at that time. Anyhow, last time these two, Neptune and North Node, met in your exactly 9th house was back in 16th century, my dear Leos. That's how rare is this aspect. Can you imagine, like 16th century? Oh my goodness. Now, February 23rd will be special, because magic meeting your destiny. This is how you can do 1 plus 1. Now, something going on in your 8th house. You might, I don't know, give birth, conception again. You might miraculously, if you had like a case that, let's say, specialists, doctors were telling you that it's not possible for you to get pregnant, don't believe them. Believe in yourself and try around 23rd of February, because Neptune is the planet of all things unexplainable, and it's meeting your destiny. My dear Leos, you might get pregnant, because 8th house is house of conception, house of fertility, and against all odds, you might conceive a baby, my dear Leos. Now, 8th house is also about money. And here, magically, getting rich might happen too, for whatever reason, but not the reason that you earn this money, just to tell you, which is not bad, which might be that your husband might win a lottery, I don't know, or wife win a lottery, as an example, or it's a good, chance to buy a lottery around this time, or your investments might boom, like, I don't know, tenfold, for example. This is just an example. You might think, what's going on there, you know? Now, April 14th, we have Saturn, same, uniting with North Node, Destiny Node in your 8th house. Again, 8th house is a magic house. And last time, these two, they met in 1877, now 150 years ago. Again, something which is rare to happen is happening in your 8th house. Saturn is a strict teacher, you know, it's a planet of responsibilities and hard work. And Saturn meeting your destiny in your 8th house in April, you will need to sort of, you know, you might, for example, back in February, if you had something magical happen, no matter what, related to your money, related to fertility, or, I don't know, meeting some magical creature, as an example, like your angel, guardian angel, or opening your third eye, for example. Yeah, and in April 14, when Saturn meets exactly the same destined node, it will sort of teach you how to handle like your next steps, sort of what to do next might come into the picture, because Saturn is a planet of this, you know, step-by-step work, hard work, and in general, no joke planet. And there might be also a situation that, for example, if you won like a lottery, then like part of it you might cannot be like be withdrawn, as an example, because Saturn is limitation, and it's meeting your destiny in your 8th house, you know, money house. You might have a problem, I don't know, with that money too. Now, September 4th, this is, I don't know, 5-star day of the whole year. Jupiter will send amazing beams to North Node in your 8th house, and Jupiter will be in your 12th house. The perfect day. Like, this is the biggest, like, amazing month. September, as I said, it will be the best year of 2025, and amazing trio also will be active. That Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto at 1 degree that I mentioned before. They will be also in the picture. Now, Jupiter, planet of luck, you know, abundance. It will reach out to your destiny, and they are both in your magical houses. You know, my dear Leo, seems like you're spiritually awakening somehow. It's amazing time for you, especially those of you who are, let's say, heavily interested and involved into the spirituality journey and subjects in general, esoterics like astrology, numerology. You might become very professional and well-known and a popular astrologer, for example, or numerologist or spiritualist, as an example. Because, you know, Jupiter's in your 12th house, North Node is in your 8th house. Both of them, they deal with spirituality, with mystical part of our life. Some things that we cannot explain, which is hidden, which is happening behind the doors, within yourself, within like your sort of mental also work. Sort of spiritual kind of awakening might happen around September for you. You might totally change your lifestyle here. And for some of you, it might be about health. If you've been having sort of issues with your health, or some sort of disease was going on there, universe healing you, my dear Leos. In September, you might get amazing news, perfect news that you finally free from disease and you are all well. This is as an example, my dear Leos. Now, in general, this is such a perfect like aspects going on in September. Use this September month, as this is the best month so far in 2025. Now, this was your horoscope for 2025. Don't forget to check your rising sign, because rising sign is the affecting the most usually, but in some cases it can be sun sign and moon sign, depending on your time of birth and place of birth. So check all of them, all three of them, and moon sign and rising and sun sign, so that you get, compare which one is actually affecting you the most. So make sure to check all of them on my channel, and I wish you the best 2025. Happy New Year, my dear Leos. Love you all. Bye-bye.